Good day, everyone. This is Polly Noodles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft,
Hey
Dracula.
now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drek. How are the peasants this week?
Not bad. Not bad. They're behaving, so everything's good.
All right, that is good to hear.
Always a
So
good
now,
thing.
yes, always a good thing. Now let's go and see what is happening over in DDO. And I heard that we have an Update 45 Lamannia preview.
We did last week from the 14th to the 16th, or actually this week, I should say. See, I'm getting my weeks confused already. The 14th to the 16th, Lamannia was up for Update 45. The big thing Update 45 brings, of course, is the Alchemist. And
Woo!
they kind of sneak something else in this. We're getting epic versions of Catacombs and Delira's Tomb. So that's exciting to see those epic. And of course, that means...
What level?
22, I think. 22, 23, I think is what they were. I think Catacombs was 22 and Delira's was 23, I think.
All right, that makes sense.
I didn't have a chance to get on the Lamannia, but I think I read that when I was on the forums.
So they're filling in the lower levels of Epic.
Kind of.
First, they had to keep it 21.
Yeah, which is nice. Also, they're doing some quality of life changes as well. Keep in mind everything we're talking about, of course, is Lamannia. So this is subject to change. This was just based on the first build on Lamannia. Some of the quantity. Wow, it's going to be a long show. I can't speak already. Let's try this again. Some of the quality of life changes is the big thing is the shared bank. There is now going to be a sorting drop-down panel that is going to allow you to short your shared bank. Say that a couple times fast. Those includes most recently added, the oldest first item names. You can do A to Z or Z to A. You can do minimum level 1 to 30 or minimum level 30 to 1.
Okay, that's nice.
And Gumskang's in the chat. He said it was a good thing he was here to hear that. Yes, because most people probably won't hear that because I'm probably going to edit that out. But hey, Gums, thanks for joining us. Also, in the shared bank, there is going to be a text field that you can sort stuff with as well. Another drop-down panel going to allow you to filter weapons, shields, rune arms, armors, eyes, heads, necks, trinket, etc., etc. So that is pretty sweet what they are doing with that. Some little other updates are going to include there is a new Gatekeeper's Grove. This is a new public area that has been added with the entrances in both the harbor and the Cerulean Hills. Currently, there is only one gatekeeper there admiring his accomplishments, but perhaps soon others will move out to the city and join him in the grove.
Okay.
So, like I said, I didn't get a chance to go on Lamannia, but my guess would be this is where you can find like Temple of Elemental and all that instead of going into the Hall of Heroes. I'm assuming they're moving everything here. If Lamannia comes back up, I'll have to check that out. But that would just be from the what's in the patch notes. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Now, are they going to be moving them completely, or are they going to be copies of?
Sounds like they are moving completely. So the gatekeepers are going to have their own little grove they're going to hang out in.
Okay.
So, like I said I didn't actually see this on the Lamannia, but my guess is that's what that is, just from reading the description. A few harbor NPCs also has some animation adjusted. There is an area of the marketplace near the catacombs and House Kenneth has been adjusted slightly. The big thing that people kind of exploded on there's two things people exploded on the forums about. But one of the things were the guild ship airship officer Duckbar no longer is selling guild airship buffs and our transport NPCs. He will still supply training dummies, crafting stations, and guild chest. So in other words, no more guild ship buffs, ?
Oh, you mean that was the only way to get them?
Yep. So if you have them, you have them. If you don't, I'm guessing you don't. I don't know. I tried to go through the thread on this, and I gave up on page like 10. It was just random people yelling. So,
Any dev responses yet?
a few. but then again, like I said, I got to go through and try to make sense of this. But they did say the banker, the auctioneer, and the mailbox was removed on Lamannia. That was an error. That will still be available to get. Just the guild buffs are gone, question mark. I'll have to dig through this forum more, and maybe next episode we can talk about it more. And then the reagent vendors in Featherspall Apothecary are now have different shops for each class, or a combination of classes that use a particular set of spell components for easier parsing. That's kind of nice. And then the other thing, how DDO is ending, and DDO is the worst game ever, and we all suck, and we should quit playing the game.
What?
There is balance changes coming.
Well, aren't there always balance changes coming?
I.e., these are big nerfs. They're killing the game, according to the forums.
According to the forums, what are these changes?
They're changing the way two-handed fighting works. They're changing the way range combat works. They're basically nerfing Inquisitor into the ground. They're nerfing Knight of the Chalice enhancement tree, and several other things. This is a very, very, very flaming hot topic on the forum right now. If you go on the forums, there is just people ranting and raving on this.
Even more so than when they did it to the Warlocks?
Yes. This is like crazy. Just a quick... I decided there was so much in this, there's not time for us to talk about this right now, because if we actually talk about this episode is going to be like 4 hours long.
Oh, it's an episode and it's on.
It's going to be, actually. It's funny you said that. Yes.
Oops.
I have decided, yes, we are going to do a special episode on this, and we're going to have Patrick from DDO Cast on with us because he is a little more versed in such things. So we're going to kind of go over this and see, but Gumsgang in the chat is saying these are needed. He's been playing a character of Epics, and now they should not work well, but is moving through adventures because he's the Inquisitor. Yeah, that's the big thing that's getting nerfed is Inquisitor, but they're also touching, as I said, they are touching the two-hand fighting changes, range combat changes, but we're going to have a show all to this. We're going to have Patrick on. Like I said, he is more versed in this. I know I guess I can't speak for Pine Leaf, but I know when I build my characters, I build them for fun. I don't build them for max power and all of this. So
you're talking to the person who built an Inquisitor that was so weak that
right.
That I'm sure that if I were the typical Inquisitor, there'd be no question of giving it nerfs.
So yeah, but the big thing to come out of this, of course, is going to be all the changes, but the Epic Catacombs and the Dolores Tombs and the Alchemist, which is going to give us 3 new enhancement trees. It's the Bombardier, the Apothecary, and the Biochemist. If you want to know about the Alchemist, Strim Tom did a video with Steel Star on it, hence why I didn't make a video. I was going to go on Lamannia and actually do a little preview of this, but Steel Star and Strim Tom did that video, and I'm like, well, there's no point in me making a video now. So just go watch that if you want to know about the Alchemist, but I'm excited about the Alchemist. Our elusive executive producer, who we have not seen for quite some time, did make a note on the forum about these balance changes.
Okay.
Seb says, greetings. Thank you for the feedback on our current Lamannia development. Yes, feedback. That's what we're going to call it. I wanted to clarify some things and respond to some player feedback. There has been some concern by players based on the wording of some of our notes that the hardcore server is prompting us to make balance changes that we otherwise wouldn't consider. All of our balance changes are aimed at the game as a whole. We do not want players playing on the hardcore server to have constant play during the season and then be able to adapt strategies that won't drastically change. And we did mean to say that we plan to target balance changes so that they they mostly happen between hardcore seasons. We don't want to balance changes that are driven by the hardcore play. This was in response to, in one of the threads, I don't remember which one, there's so many threads, and I got so confused about these threads. One of the devs stated that after looking at the data from the hardcore league last year that ended, this is what prompted those changes. So then people automatically screamed, "You're developing the game just for hardcore now." So not quite the case. Gums King says, yeah, otherwise the balance changes were coming anyway, just not in the middle of a season. Yeah, that's basically what they're going to do. Is Hardcore Season 2 will come, and then they'll look at that data, and then they'll do a little balancing in between seasons, so the game is always balanced and updated, which is pretty much what they have done all along. I think it's just the way that it was worded. It was worded poorly, and it sounded like they were developing the game for the Hardcore League, and that's all they cared about, which Seb wants to point out that is not the case.
I have a feeling that in the Hardcore League, it gives them a metric you don't get too often, because in the Hardcore League, you will have, well, I presume TRs might even be turned off there, because...
No, you can actually TR, you just have to...
It'd just be crazy to do it, right?
Which people did it countless times on the Hardcore server, but yes.
Yeah. But you will probably have a lot fewer lives.
That's exactly it.
See how because right now, if you're on the main servers, 90% of what they're probably looking at are probably with people with countless lives, and that, I'm sure, skews their data.
That is exactly it, and Gums King just pointed that out, actually. He said the Hardcore server gave SSG a lot of raw data with fresh characters that don't have all the fancy gear and past lives. So yes. Yeah. That is, and they saw, and we did see some other good changes come out of that, as they saw in, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. They have, quote unquote, nerfed some of the quest because they saw in the Hardcore League, okay, a lot of people were dying at this point, so maybe we should look at this boss fight and maybe tweak this a little bit or tweak this here. So, and that too, I think, came too from, again, the fresh set of people are going in, 0 past lives, newbie, brand new gears. We're going to see what happens. Seb does go on to say, too, that for the range pass, we have additional changes coming. The Archer's focus stance will be further reworked to adjust functionality concerns. And in addition, we will have a component that further increases its damage. Bows is going to get an additional exclusive buff to shore up their effectiveness when compared to other ranged options to prevent the style as a whole from experiencing a loss of DPS. So yay, my ranger says yay for that. For the two-handed pass, it is not our intention to lower single target damage for two-handed styles. We will be working to make sure that doesn't happen. We are also reviewing changes to the Dance of Death and doing more testing to see how it compares to cleave-based builds. Once again, thank you for your feedback, Seb. So, there you go. My only advice is to just chill out, people. The sky's not falling. The world is not ending. DDO is not going to end. This is not going to kill DDO. I don't know how many times we've heard the sky is falling, DDO is over, they're doing this, they're nerfing that, they're nerfing this. Oh my God, the game sucks now. We'll all get through this. Deep breaths, and we'll all get through this.
We'll all get...
But as I said, yeah, we are going to have a special episode just on the balance changes with Patrick from DDO Cast, as he is more qualified to talk about that than Pine Leaper I. Because like I said, we just kind of play for fun, and we just have fun. We don't actually build characters. And I know some people are like just gasping as I say that right now. It's like, oh my God, you're playing wrong. Well, that's how Pine Leaper I play. So there.
Well, yes. And as I said, this year, my goal for this year is to get some semblance of idea how to build a character, but certainly not to the level of your ultra strong players.
Right. So more on the balance changes coming soon. Look for that special episode in your podcast feed soon-ish. Trademark.
Soonish. Anything else relating to the preview?
Nope, that's it. Like I said, just we could kind of talk about the Alchemist, but then again, just go watch that video. As I said, I'm not doing a video because Stormtoms is there, and it's great, so it would be pointless for me to make one.
Then let's head to the DDO Chronicle, which just looks a little Borderlandish.
It's Borderlandish, for sure. Little Knowlish as well.
Yeah.
We have, I just talked about this. Strim Tom does sit down with Steelstar to delve deeper into the Alchemist class. Click over and watch that video. As I said, I highly recommend that you watch it if you're looking at the Alchemist and you're excited about it. They dig pretty deep into the class, so check it out. Also, Aba266 has created an equipment guide for leveling. So check that out. And I kind of glanced at this, and just as a quick cursory glance I gave this is an amazing little guide for leveling. So check that out. The link there is in the Chronicles. I'm going to delve into this more, and I might actually maybe try to get some of this equipment and levels and use this as I plan a new character.
Oh, I mean, this is something I should be looking at when I do my...
I highly recommend it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
For my special character,
Yep.
yes.
Highly recommend this. This is a wonderful guide. So thank you, Aba266, for putting that together. And Psycho Blonde is teaching the Caverns of Cormyr. So click over and watch that video if you ever want to learn how to run that quest. We also have our fan site news section. DDO Cast is reviewing the year 2019. Click over and watch or listen to that. We too had a year in review episode. You can check that out. That was last week's show. Don't forget about DDO Stream. Great place to find people streaming DDO on Twitch. Doug Glendower, Brock and Friends, and D&D Night on DDO Stream, to name a few. Also, Samus Garobo and Strim Tom does actually Twitch as well. YouTube, plenty of people playing DDO over on YouTube. Force Plays has a Fire Sork build guide. And Noah is soloing an invitation to dinner. And Norwegian, sure, why not, kills a dragon in a montage. So check those videos out over on YouTube. We have our Chronicle comment. What is the best thing about Featherfall?
What is the best thing about Featherfall? I mean, having it is so great. I mean, I had to choose something best about it.
I was going to say, I mean,
what? You don't get killed!
What is not the best thing about Featherfall? Featherfall is amazing. Everything is the best thing about Featherfall.
Yes, really.
I guess the best thing about Featherfall would be to have it on an item so you don't have a clicky that you have to remember to click. That maybe could be the best thing, I guess.
Yes, when you have a permanent Featherfall.
Yes. Because I usually, if I don't have a permanent Featherfall item, I usually tend to forget that until it's too late, and then I was like, oh crap, I don't know. Oh well. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
This was on the hardcore server. Oops.
Yeah. Oops. What are you gonna do? That may have happened. May. Allegedly may have happened.
Allegedly.
Let's move into our
alleged incident.
That's right. There's no, well, actually, there's a witness it, but other than that, there's no witnesses. Screenshot of the week in our Chronicle this week is Nebergen Adventures Inside a Wayloon in the 447th DDO screenshot of the week, and that is from Nebergen. Thank you for sending that screenshot in, and that is our Chronicle.
Then let's go and find out what's on sale, and I hope it's something exciting.
Well, not bad. Adventure and Advance, 30% off select adventure packs. I always love it. It's select adventure packs.
Select.
And you got the
Keep of the Borderlands is, I'm sure, not one of the.
I would venture a guess no. I didn't actually look, but I'm going to just go out on a limb and say no, sorry. That's not on sale yet.
Okay.
Also, you can get Questel XP Elixirs 30% off. That runs through January the 23rd. Our weekly coupon this week is, I don't remember this ever being a free sample, but you get +2 Thieves Tools. You'll get 10 of those with the coupon code PICKME, PICKME, and that is now through January the 23rd.
It sounds like something good for your Artificer or Rogue.
Exactly. Even though they are +2, but still, free tools is free tools. But yeah,
if you're low level, +2 might be useful.
Well, that's true. I don't remember this ever being a free sample. If it was, I just totally didn't pay attention, but it's a pretty cool pre-sample this week. So good.
Let's head in and find out what's coming in from the dungeon. Where Laurel Silverhand's Explorer's Kit is coming from Watsy. Whatever. Oh, what is Laurel Silverhand's Explorer's Kit? This looks like a bunch of dice to me.
It is. This is what they have been doing the past couple times. It kind of coincides with a new hardcover book they have coming out. They always release a set of dice that have some extras in them. So, Wizard says about this, let L'Oreal Silverhand, Open Lord of Waterdeep, centuries-old Archmage, and daughter of the Goddess of Magic, guide you on your path to adventure. This new kit is going to include 11 dice, placed in a durable felt-lined box that will also function as 2 dice trays. Fans can also enjoy the 20 illustrated double-sided cards detailing L'Oreal's expert insight on key characters, locations, and lore from across the Forgotten Realms. And you also, of course, get the handy fold-out double-sided map of the Sword Coast and the city of Waterdeep. These are going to be available everywhere. March 17th for $29.99 is going to be the MSRP.
So I guess being the daughter of a goddess helps you to have a pretty long lifespan?
It does, yes.
It does. Okay.
She's pretty old, if that's what you're asking. Yes.
Well, it does say centuries old, so.
Yes, she is centuries old indeed. But yeah, this is kind of cool. Like I said, they've been doing this. They've done a couple of these now. These dice, I like the blue color that these dice are. They're kind of, I'm usually not a big blue dice person, but these are kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is like sea foam blue, maybe. It's kind of like a translucent, brightish aqua blue, I guess. I like the color of the dice. And the map looks nice too, but we'll see.
Well, one or two of them almost look diamondy blue, you know.
Kind of, yeah. So this is a pretty cool blue. And like I said, I'm usually not a blue dice person, but these are pretty nice.
Then let's go and look at what's coming from Critical Role, where their setting is coming to life in D&D 5th edition.
Yes, the official book that is coming out. So the next release of the 5e hardcover is going to be the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. And of course, this is the setting that was created by Matt Mercer for the Critical Role campaign. This is a 304-page Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. It is going to invite DMs to start playing in any of Wildmount's regions using introductory adventures. That's a hard word to say. Let me try that again. Introductory adventures. Yeah, it's going to be a long show. Dozens of story-inspiring plot seeds. I can't talk today. I have no idea why. And new heroic. See, there we go. Chronicle systems. I give up. Adventurers can also expect to discover countless secrets revealed by Critical Role Dungeon Master Matt Mercer himself. Players and DMs will find new character options available for play in any campaign, like the Echo Knight Fighter subclass and spells of Dunmancery, numerous new monsters, and more. The book is also coming out March 17th, so same time that the dice are coming out. Book can be pre-ordered now at your local FLGS. Also, online retailers have it as well. But that is the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, the Critical Role setting. It's written mainly by Matt Mercer, but of course the D&D team are helping out as well. But Matt Mercer is doing most of the writing on this because it's his world. He created it.
Then let's head into what's coming on the tabletop. And do you want to hear the greatest understatement of the new decade.
Sure. What's that?
Return to Dark Tower has funded.
Many, 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 many times over. Yeah, actually funded in 4 hours. As of this recording right now, which we are doing on Saturday, January the 18th, they are at $2.4 million of their $850,000 goal. Yes, you heard me right. $2.4 million.
What I get is that they had an $850,000. What?
Well, I've got some thoughts on that, but we'll hold that thought for a second. Yes, Return to the Dark Tower, of course, is the update that Restoration Games is doing to the original Dark Tower game. You might remember that. That was the game from Milton Bradley that had the big tower. You were adventuring around the tower, and then you were eventually going into the tower to defeat the wizard, yada, yada, yada. The Return to Dark Tower is an app-enabled board game that is bringing together Rob Daviau, who is the main designer on this, and Isaac Childress, who you might recognize that name. That is the creator of Gloomhaven. So those two are teaming up to design this, so it should be interesting. Restoration Game says Dark Tower has been in the works for about 3 years. There is a lot of tech that drives the experience. The tower itself is a translucent black plastic obelisk. It hides a rotating motorized core and lighted glyphs. If you look at on the Kickstarter, there is a picture of inside the tower, and you can see there is lots of LEDs. There's lots of motors. It's Bluetooth enabled, so the app that you play with knows what you are doing, and it knows what the tower's doing. And then at various times, the tower makes a noise, and it rotates. And then you have to, at various points of gameplay, you have to drop skulls in. Those skulls may stay in the tower. They may come out. It's interesting. So yeah, so you can still get in on this if you want. You got, as of this recording, 16 days to go. Base pledge on this is going to be $125.
Yikes!
If you want the all-in, you get everything. You get the base game, you get the expansion, you get miniatures, you get token upgrades. That's going to cost you $225. I was excited about this game. I played Dark.
Price?
Yeah, exactly. I played Dark Tower many times as a kid. My cousin actually had it. I never actually had Dark Tower, but he had it. I love the game, but yeah, $125. Not so much excited anymore.
Now, I have not played Dark Tower, though I do have a game called Dork Tower, which, if I remember correct, they did say that the title and, well, obviously it's based on the comic strip, I think it's.
Yes.
Dork Tower.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's based on the comic strip, obviously, in there. And they said, yes, the mechanics of the game were definitely done as an homage to Dark Tower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never played Dork Tower, but.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, and getting back to their original funding goal.
Yeah.
I think they did that just so it would fund. I'm pretty sure they needed way more money than that to actually make this game happen.
Oh, so you thought they were lowballing it? I saw the thing and I say, well, that looked like a pretty high.
No, I think they lowballed that just to get it funded, and they were pretty sure that the whole nostalgia thing was going to kick in. People were going to love this, and it was going to blow up like it did. So I'm pretty sure they lowballed the actual Kickstarter goal. But like I said, that's just me. That's my opinion. I have no insight to this whatsoever. That's just what I think. But anyway, if you have $125 laying around, which I do not, congratulations on getting the Dark Tower. I'm super jealous, but I'm hoping at Gen Con I'll at least get to play it. I'm hoping they'll have a prototype or something at Gen Con so I can at least play it. Since
I thought you were going to say you were going to hope for a reviewer copy.
Well, that'd be nice, but I kind of highly doubt it, but we'll see. I mean, we are.
Dice Tower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have done interviews with Restoration Games. We've done other reviews for them, so maybe, but yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that.
You're not going to hold your breath. All right. Now, I'm looking at some of these vids that they're showing here on their page, and pieces that are going to be are going to get lost on the first.
Yeah, there is a lot of tiny, tiny pieces to this game.
Yeah, that says don't bother.
And the miniatures look really good. They did a good job with miniatures, which this is the first time Restoration Game has done a game with miniatures. So I think they did good on the sculpts on these. But yeah, just $125. I can't justify $125 for this, much less the $225 all in. As Gums in the chat is saying, $125. Ouch. That's an understatement.
Yeah, it's an understatement. Then let's go and have a close look at what is on the screen. Where Fantasy Flight Interactive is closing.
That's right. Sad news. Fantasy Flight Interactive, of course, is the digital branch of Fantasy Flight Games. They were bringing the tabletop games of the company to the digital world. Is going to close in February. An unspecified number of employees were laid off. There has been nothing really official from either Asmodee or Fantasy Flight about this. This kind of leaked via a LinkedIn post. Tim Gertzman, who was the head of the studio, wrote, quote, "The decision has been made to close Fantasy Flight Interactive next month. I'm going to do my best to get my team placed in new positions. I have programmers, designers, artists, QA staff, and a producer to get placed in new roles, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that is done quickly. Additionally, I too am now open to new opportunities, since I will also be out of a job." The Fantasy Flight Interactive branch was established in 2017 as I said, to bring the tabletop games of Fantasy Flight Games to the digital world. They only did one title, and that was the Lord of the Rings adventure card game.
Yeah, I hear all sorts of hypotheses on why that didn't work out very well.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
There's one I heard, because of course biggest one is that they went through all this trouble to create a digital adaptation and made it look like Hearthstone instead of like Lord of the Rings the living card game.
Yeah, that was the biggest complaint about it, is it was nothing like the game. They changed it way too much. I mean, you sometimes you have to, when you take tabletop board game and then you bring it digital, you kind of have to make a little changes to it, which makes sense, but they went way too far on Lord of the Rings.
They certainly went way too. And the other thing was that I know one person said they should have made it a free-to-play game to bring people in and have the expansion packs for pay, and I said, wait a minute, isn't that what they tried to do it at pre-release, and the yelling was so intense that the went away from that?
And say that's kind of funny, because that's originally what they were planning on doing, and people like threw a fit about it.
Yeah.
The only kind of official announcement from this that we did get was over on the Lord of the Rings adventure card game Steam page. A Asmodee employee confirmed in a post that they still are going to support the game's servers after the studio closure. And they did say Asmodee is continuing planned releases of the game's definitive edition, which is coming out on consoles later in the year. That is already released on PC. That came out on PC in December, but it's coming to consoles. So the definitive edition, console edition, is still going to be there. The servers are still going to be there. You can still play the game. Just as of right now, there's going to be no updates for it. And then also, to going along with this, the other big rumor, which again, nothing official about this, the customer service department and the tabletop RPG department as well were also let go. So
did they have a tabletop RPG?
They did. They had like 4 titles coming out, which they're not saying anything about those, so people don't know if they're still coming out, they're dead, what's going on with it. Yeah, that was something else they tried, and it really wasn't going well, apparently. So we'll see. To throw a little irons to the fire, as it were, okay. I do know that the company that owns the major stake in Asmodee, the financial company, which I can't for the life of me remember the name of it right now, they're like the major financial backer. There has been rumblings for a while now that they were actually looking at selling Asmodee off. So possibly this could be part of that. They're starting to make it look a little sweeter because maybe it won't be as much now that they don't have this digital part of Fantasy Flight, or I don't know. We'll see. That's just a
Oh,
little.
so first they have Asmodee buy everybody, and then they sell it.
Yeah. Well, they're hoping to make their money back and then some, I would assume, which is
Well,
basically
yeah,
what those big broker houses do. I mean, they buy companies and then they sell them for more than what they bought them for, which is how they make all their billions and billions of dollars. So,
right. And meanwhile, trashing the business.
right, exactly. I'm assuming. I mean, just thinking about how normally stuff like this happens, I would say that's probably what's going on here. But I don't know. Then again, that's just conjecture on my part. But I do know that has been rumblings for a while that Asmodee is actually up for sale.
Okay, that's going to be quite a mess. I'm sure that we're going to hear about in the future.
Oh, yes. Hopefully we'll actually get some more information on this soon. But hope all the people that did lose their jobs bounce back and get jobs quickly.
Now, here's something for you, and
Mm-hmm.
that is that there is apparently a digital adaptation of the board game Fury of Dracula coming from Nomad Games.
Yeah, this came from nowhere, too. Like, I didn't even know this was in the works. This wasn't even hinted at. And then all of a sudden, there was this press release from Nomad Games that said, hey, we're bringing Fury of Dracula to the digital world. Of course, this is the Deduction Hidden Movement board game, originally published by Games Workshop way back in 1987. And it revolves around 4 vampire hunters moving around 19th century Europe, trying to stop Dracula from raising an army of undead thralls. This version is going to be based on the current version of the game, which is the 4th edition that was released by WizKids last year. Nomad Games have also adapted other board games, so this is not their first rodeo in this. They did the Talismans digital game and the Fighting Fantasy games. So there has been no announcement on what platforms this is coming to, nor a release date. But one would venture it would be iOS, Android, and computer, you would think, because that's what their other 2 games are.
All right. Now, with Fury of Dracula, if I remember correctly, there isn't much difference between the 3rd and 4th editions, just the company that put them out.
Right, there's a couple tweaks, but not much.
Okay.
It basically just Games Workshop and Fantasy Flight Games parted ways, so FFG didn't have the rights to it anymore. WizKids bought the rights up, and then they did the 4th edition. There was a couple tweaks, but 3rd and 4th are pretty close to each other.
You know, which really makes fun of me is the other game which I remember there being in this case was a 4th edition, and then that was done. I think maybe it was this is Talisman, where they put out a 4th edition of Talisman. This is obviously the Games Workshop. I think they put that out directly, or I forgot which one was put out by them directly, or which one was put out with a.
Yeah, there's so many Talismans editions.
Okay, so you had this 4th edition come out, and then another company got the right in order to put out, and they called it the 4th edition still, despite the fact that there were substantial changes to the game. And in fact, there was an entire new mechanism that never existed in Talisman before.
Well, then how can they call it the 4th edition if they changed it that much? Good grief.
And then they had an upgrade kit to go from the original
good grief.
4th edition to the expanded 4th edition, all this stuff. And it was like the craziest, because you know the whole thing with fate that they have in Talisman?
Yes.
That was added for this 4th edition, for this 4.5 edition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it didn't exist in Talisman before. It was just such a weird thing, an entire new major mechanic that permeates the current edition that was added. And the reason why I was thinking, of course, is because Games Workshop was involved in the whole thing with Dracula also.
My only thing with doing a digital version of this is is kind of a weird game to do a digital version with.
Yeah.
The only way I could see this working is with, I hope hope this is what they're doing with this. I hope Dracula is actually AI controlled. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Just the players are just the vampire hunters. AI is doing all the Dracula hidden movement and everything. That would be super amazing if that's how they do this.
I can't think of any other way of doing it.
It's got to be the way they're doing it, because it would be, I think, way too hard to do it like have a player control Dracula. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, more information is coming on this. Hopefully we'll get some information soon. But yeah, Fury of Dracula coming to something. We don't know what. Like I said, judging by the other two games, I'm assuming Android, iOS, and computers. One would assume, at least. Fury of Dracula. I'm super excited about this, though. Of course.
Whee!
Nobody's shocked. Nobody.
Now comes one which, since I hadn't had a chance to see the trailer to this next one originally, I had thought, all right, this is up in Skyrim. Dracula is not going to be too excited on this. Then Dracula just gave me a quick description of what it was about. I was like, oh boy, did I miss that one.
You say then you saw the trailer and you were like, oh, okay, I see what he's talking about. Yeah, the new expansion for Elder Scrolls Online has been announced, and it is Greymoor, the Dark Heart of Skyrim.
Ooh.
We are heading back into Skyrim. It is an ancient evil emerges from the depths, intent on devouring the souls of Skyrim. A dark tide of monsters rise from Blackreach and threatens to plunge all of Tamriel into darkness. In the Dark Heart of Skyrim, you can experience a new year-long adventure, beginning with the upcoming Harrowstorm DLC dungeon pack and continuing through the Greymoor chapter and beyond. Basically, the easiest way I can describe this is Ravenloft in Elder Scrolls Online. This is all vampire. This is a vampire story. The whole evil that is in the Dark Heart of Skyrim is vampires. Like, watch the trailer. I got such a Ravenloft feel off the trailer. I'm so excited about this. But yes, the Harrowstorm DLC dungeon pack that is kicking this off is going to be in February. Going to have 2 new dungeons. The Harrowstorm will have you contend with the supernatural storm in Icereach and explore the depths of the unhallowed grave. As you discover the dark forces that threaten Skyrim, the events of this DLC will lead directly into the Greymoor chapter. And they describe this as a supernatural horror storms plague western Skyrim. Dark beasts, led by a powerful vampire lord, devour souls to further their mysterious plans. In Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor, the Elder Scrolls Online newest chapter, you must defend the besieged Nords and discover the evil behind this monstrous resurgence. It's going to give you an all-new zone to explore, which is going to be western Skyrim. A gothic main story quest that will tie into the Dark Heart of Skyrim adventure. An intriguing new system, which is the Antiquities system. Massive 12 new player trial called Kane's Aegis. New world events, which are Harrowstorms, new delves, new public dungeons, standalone quest, quality of life updates, and a lot more. It's vampires. I'm excited. Let's do this, is all I'm going to say.
Oh, Harrowstorms. Okay, so that's what's going to replace the anchors and the dragons for this particular area.
It definitely sounds like it. Yeah, the Harrowstorms are the new dragons.
Are the new dragons. All right. Now, when I was first reading this, of course, I had forgotten for a couple of moments that you can have player character vampires. And
you can.
Right. And I was just, oh, wait a minute. How long is it going to take Dracula before he can arrange to become a vampire?
Not long. I'm working on it already.
You're working on it already?
I've got the feelers out trying to find who wants to bite me.
All right.
The plan is in motion.
Okay.
Because it's amazing.
Not a shock, right?
Yeah.
Let's head into our week in gaming. what were you up to?
Well, DDO wise, actually played some DDO. I know, shocking, right? Over on Argo, my wolf block is now level 23. Saba Jade listened to the episode last week, and she was like, "You know what? We're gonna get you to 28. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make this happen."
She said you are going to make it this year.
She did. That was pretty much her exact words. Were that you're gonna get to 28, and we're gonna cap it off with running Haunted Halls of Evening Star. So
okay.
The 28 quest is on. Did get from level 22 to 23, so gained a level. Yay. We started out doing the Webs of Chaos. We're doing it on Epic Hard. That of course is the Lords of Dust and the Servants of the Overlord. That's gonna lead us into Evening Star, and then we're gonna do a bunch of Evening Star stuff and do Haunted Halls when I'm 28. So we'll see how that goes. Over on Wayfinder, the quest for 28 is also on.
Oh.
But Tay and Rhett and Lessa have upped the ante. We're not going for 28 on Wayfinder. We're going for 30.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that happens. Started out with just Rhett and Tay. We started into with the Masterminds of Sharn. We're doing it on Epic Normal because, yes, that is a level 30 quest, and we are level 22, but we're doing them anyway because we're crazy. I guess. Wasn't too bad. You just have to kind of be careful with your pulls and, don't rush into things. So it's really, really fun. But yeah, we're doing it on Epic Normal. So we did a Sharn Welcome and Best Laid Plans. And then Lessa hopped on. And it usually happens when Lessa comes on, she says, I want to do this because I want to get this item. So we go do what Lessa wants to do. So that's what happened. So we jumped in to keep on the Borderlands. We ran the Hobgoblin Horde several times. We did that on Epic Hard. That we were trying to get there is a drop out of there that is the magnifying lens goggles. It's very, very roguey, and that was for me.
Yeah, and I was just wondering then, is because you have this misspelled as magnifying lens googles. I said, does it help you to search?
Well, yeah, it does actually. That's a funny mistype because that's actually what it does. Funny. That was a funny thing that happened there. Then we did the Bugbear Bandits several times. She wanted something to drop out of there. I don't remember what it was. We finally ended up getting it for her. I don't know what it was. But like I said, we just kind of do what Lessa wants to do because that's what you do.
Yeah.
So we will continue on with that. And Sab and I are going to continue on. So it's going to be kind of funny to see which one hits 28 first. Even though the Wayfinder group, they're telling me my goal is 30. They're like going to get me past 28. So we'll see. So am I going to hit 28 first or 30 first? We'll see. The plot thickens.
You'll have to see.
And then only other thing I did gaming-wise was played Elder Scrolls Online, and I did that with Pineleaf. I'll let Pineleaf kind of talk about more of what we did, but the reason behind this is right after, you might remember we did the Sharn Heaven and Hell series. We were talking... I can't remember if it was after that we completely wrapped up that one, or we were maybe on the last episode. We were just kind of playing and we were talking. Elder Scrolls Online, the last update they had was the Somerset update, and in that they had
actually it was the Elsewhere.
Or the Elsewhere, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I said Somerset, because that's a long story why I said that. But it was the Elsewhere update. They introduced the Necromancer class. And I didn't know about that until I just kind of happened to see that, and I was like, ooh, hey, there's Necros in Elder Scrolls. And I knew Pineleaf had Elder Scrolls, because we used to play a long time ago together. And then I was like, what do you think about maybe doing Heaven and Hell Season 2, but in Elder Scrolls? So that's going to happen. We didn't record this play session because we were kind of getting familiar, because it's been a long time since either one of us played ESO. And then plus, I'm starting to learn the Necro too. But yeah, I think Pineleaf played sooner than I had played.
Well, I played some last year, but I'd say it's been about 6 to 8 months since I last played.
And Gums can say he's playing ESO right now. Yay, I will have to friend you, Gums.
Actually, I think we should start recording when we head up to Skyrim, because I'm sure as soon as that DCL drops, we're going to be heading up to Skyrim, and with
that's actually a good idea. Maybe we'll do that.
And that way we'll know our characters well enough, and
I like that idea.
By then that we could actually go and use it. And I think that we will now know our characters. We can go up there and then experience the new storyline as the series.
So look for Heaven and Hell Season 2 coming over to my YouTube. We're not going to Twitch it because for some reason, I don't have like the greatest gaming computer, but I have a pretty decent gaming computer. For some reason, Twitch and ESO for me does not get along.
Ooh.
So we're just going to record it. So, but it'll be over on YouTube. And of course, I am playing a Necromancer, of course.
And I'm playing a Templar because heaven and hell.
Heaven and hell. There you go. Yep. So look for that coming soon. But I like that idea. And the plan with this is we decided we're going to do every other week. So next week when we play, we're going to play DDO. And then the week after we'll play ESO and then so on and so forth. So that way we're still doing DDO, but we're still doing the ESO. So we're going to do every other week. So every other week we'll be live on Twitch.
It's going to be it'll be a 3-week cycle though, because you have your other thing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there is one Thursday where I'm not available. So yeah, so you will be able to see us play DDO on Twitch still, but just I'm trying to figure out maybe to tweak some settings to get ESO to work on Twitch, because I know there's a billion other people that Twitch ESO, so it must be something in my settings. So we'll figure that out. But so how about your week, Pine Leaf? What did you do?
What did I do? I'll begin with what I did in DDO. I didn't have much time on DDO this week, but I did decided let's try my first character to do this whole thing with Keep of the Borderlands. It's a half-orc barbarian.
Okay.
And I went into the landscape and, ooh, boy, I attempted a first quest in there. Boy, I can't even remember what quest it was. It was, what happened is I go into the dungeon. Oh, the one with the goblins and hobgoblins.
Okay, all right.
So I go into the hobgoblin lair in there, and this shows you how little I've played the barbarian. In that the barbarian is probably, for the way I was playing it, the least likely character to survive without a cleric. He's a barbarian, goes in there, charges, slash, takes damage, and whenever I went to a shrine, 13 points.
Wow.
13. Here I go. My base hit points is something like, 48, 50, something like this. And that's being chipped away at me piece by piece by all these mobs. And I go to a restaurant, I get 13 points because you get that 10 baseline, and I get 3 for being level 1, and my wisdom was abysmal.
Well, you're a barbarian, so yeah, that would make sense.
Right, yeah. Well, they also they do have a couple of wisdom skills and so, but this means, of course, that I don't have a healing skill, and of course, with the wisdom 0 by default is, I'm surprised they didn't give me a negative penalty for that, but yeah, 13 points, which is, of course, a pittance based on what I get whenever I go in there, so yeah, I could not finish it as a result. But I did have this thing. One of my goals, I said that the first time I try it, I would see how far I can get without a cleric. And my answer for the half-orc barbarian is nowhere.
Not very far, huh?
Yes. Not very far at all, because the barbarian is your ultimate tank. And in fact, some of their best things that they do involves them going out in there, screaming and yelling and going into a rage, doing mass. But trouble is with that is if you don't have a healer around, you're gonna go out of the rage dead. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did not go well for me at all for that. So therefore, that's the lesson on this. So I will have to go back and play a little bit more with the half-orc barbarian, but this time with the cleric, since obviously I'm not getting through that one with that one. Then in Minecraft, I ran the second week of the Mage Rage for January, and even started the third week or the second week, because they have the spells chosen for you this month. I'm having this whole thing. So, okay, now let's see if I can use these spells that I have no idea how to use. Fortunately for week 3, it looks like they got the spells are ones I'm more familiar with, but it's sort of like seeing how can I adjust to these spells I'm getting. And in my single player world, my main world that I'm doing for this one, I'm doing the thing that is loosely inspired by the cult of the reptile god, and in there I am just starting on the Temple of Mireka and getting that built. So I'm just outside of a village. I'm building the temple. I've got my foundation laid out. I'm trying to see how am I going to adapt various features into this game. And at one point I noticed when I was looking there, wait a minute, the pillars inside the sanctuary are tree trunks. Well, boy, I said, ding. That means I am going to have, obviously what I'm going to how I'm going to get growing a tree in there, and I'm going to see if I could arrange there for to be beehives being spawned with them, because I thought it'd be perfect if we have these pillars with beehives attached to it and have various flowers for all through it, because I think that would be very fitting to the. I know it's not described that way in the module or anything like that, but I thought that would be perfect. I think for the Temple of Marek to have these bees going all over the place in there pollinating stuff. Now they do describe the floors in there. When they describe the floors, that they said that there's various that this they just say it's a multicolored abstract mosaic that's on the floor. And I'm trying to say, what are they going to make this mosaic out of? I think, okay, how about terracotta? That sounds nice and earthy. Uh,
Sure. Yeah, makes
there's no
sense.
source of terracotta anywhere near where I spawned it. The spawn area I
Of
have
course
is
not.
lovely for bees, but lousy for terracottas. So,
Well,
so I've decided that instead I'm going to have a wooden floor and do it that way, because I think a wooden floor is nice and agricultural, at least close enough for what I can
sure.
do
Yeah. I
here.
mean, it kind of fits into the theme, so it makes
I think
sense.
it fits into the theme, so that's what I'm
Hmm.
going to do for there. Remember, I am doing a little adaptation of it, not necessarily a
Right.
pure copy of the thing. And now for tabletop, there is a new solo con that just started. Remember, I did say that I was going to try to do some this year.
Hmm.
And this week's is the Alphabet Solo Con Z. And the reason why they call it Solo Con Z is because we are going to be taking the alphabet, and we're going to be using the first letters of the thing, and we're going to try to make combinations similar to what you would have in Yahtzee. So that's what it's doing for which the games you choose. And I thought, well, if that's the theme for this time, therefore I decided that my first game I'll play for this con would be Yahtzee. It's been a couple of years since I played Yahtzee, so
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I played Yahtzee, but sure.
right. So I played Yahtzee, and I must say that I had a pretty lousy session. That's what I was gonna say for that particular session of Yahtzee. I usually when I play a session of Yahtzee, it's 6 games to fill up one page of the score
Yeah.
pads.
Yep.
So I played through this, and I noticed that the previous time I played Yahtzee, I had on there 3 of the games were above 250 and 3 of the games were below 250. I figured, okay, I will say that I won a game if I beat 250. I didn't make 250 on a single one of those 6 games.
Oh, geez.
I unfortunately cannot find the records from my old games that I had way back when I used to play Yahtzee a lot. Now, we're talking decades ago. And since I can't find those records anymore, I don't know how bad that is to my overall records. But yeah, I could not break 250 in a single game. I think I broke 200 in 3 of them and was less than 200 for the
Like I
other
said, it's
ones.
been so long since I played Yahtzee, I couldn't even tell you what
Yeah.
my. I'm pretty sure I used to get 250, but it's been.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you last time I played
well,
Yahtzee,
you
though.
have when you get the nice lucky rolls and stuff like this.
Right. You say it all does depend on the rolls. That's very true.
Yes, what really got me, of course, was I'm in the very last game. I'm down to 4 of a kind in Yahtzee. I failed to get either of them on my penultimate round, so I said, okay, I have a better chance of getting a 4 of a kind than a Yahtzee, so I zeroed the Yahtzee.
And you rolled the
I
Yahtzee in the next roll.
Well, it took me 3 rolls to get the Yahtzee, but yes, I didn't get the
Yep.
Yahtzee on the next one, of course. So scoring a 25 on my 4 of a kind,
Right.
but of course that meant I would have gotten twice that much if I scored it as a Yahtzee.
Jeez. Yep. 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 Yep.
So that was nice and cruel way to just twist the knife at the end on how things just weren't going my way.
Of course.
All right. Then the next 2 games I played, and then I started a series I'm going to call it's being called a straight series. Now they're trying to do go in order in the alphabet for a certain number of times. I'm going to see if I could get a straight of 6 for this. And first one I played is Arion, which of course would be A. And I played that, and that one went, I think things didn't go too badly on that one. Was fairly straightforward game of Arion as far as I decided to play it with none of the expansions because it was a while since I had played Arion. And figured if I start throwing in expansions, I'd just get completely confused. I wasn't completely remembering the rules are right in the first place. So if I start throwing in expansions, it would just been confusion. So I played the base game of Arian and got that one. Then I brought out Bethel Woods for my B game. And Bethel Woods was, I remember the last time I played it, I had really fouled things up and I wound up putting myself into an impossible position where I just could not get enough chips in order to be able to get the knowledge I needed in order to finish the game. So this time around, I said, okay, I have to pay nice and close attention to what I'm doing because if you don't, you really get killed in Bethel Woods. And I started going around all this time, going very smoothly. And I had two characters in here. The two characters I was playing were good at keeping damage from building up. And that, I think, helped me a great deal on that. In fact, I didn't have a single malfunction in the entire game that I was playing, which is, I didn't think it was possible in Bethel Woods. So it was going rather smoothly. But here I was now getting ready to set up. All right, all I need is get this one more chip. So the next turn, for the same character, I will be able to get into the final location for the orphanage and finish the game. And I moved my pieces in order to get that last chip. I moved my pieces in such a way that made the move I wanted to do impossible. It's like, when I realized that. Fortunately, I realized that soon enough that I was able to, on my next turn, set myself up properly, then do a nothing move on my other character that would not interfere with that and be able to finish the game. But yeah, you've got to be careful during the end game of Bethel Woods because if you don't, you are going to really jab a knife into you. Fortunately, I was lucky and didn't get stabbed in the back as a result of doing this, and I managed to pull off a win this time. So yes, it's a game where you need to pay attention. And then ESO, where I created my Templar, and then we headed out into Elsewhere, as you mentioned earlier. And we were hoping to chase a dragon at one point, but
We tried.
whenever a dragon popped up, it always popped up into a very, very hard to reach area that was going to take us way off the course we want to do for regular questing. So we haven't. So no, we've not yet had an opportunity to kill a dragon because you get some really nice loot when you participate in a dragon hunt in those world events. But maybe next time. And that concludes my week. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. And if you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. And this week we did not have any comments or emails, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance, at Players Ally, DDO Players, at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula_72, and finally Pet Polly Deals. And you can follow Drac on Twitch when we play Heaven and Hell on Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has two shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, so this week, yeah, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have Locha Players News. You can join us for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Polly Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.